I'm Dale Harris of the Voters for Jobs. Donald Trump and the Republican Party are the deadly enemies of Trump voters. The Trump Republican budget will kill Trump voters, and it stabs Trump voters in the back. To save their own lives, Trump voters must join the revolution against the Trump Republican budget that will kill them. First, understand how Donald Trump and the Republican Party are the deadly enemies of Trump voters who have stabbed Trump voters in the back. Most Trump voters were voting based upon the promise that they would get good-paying jobs. During the campaign, Donald Trump made two jobs promises. Trump said he would use tariffs or trade wars to take back our factory jobs from communist China. Trump said he would create millions of construction jobs. Companies have offshored 5 million factory jobs to communist China. Getting those jobs back would also create 20 million other jobs in America due to the cash flow effect of job creation. That would add $1 trillion per year to the income of American workers. If we banned limited and highly taxed factory and part imports, when workers make less than $10 per hour, then we would get back those jobs and thus add $1 trillion per year to the income of American workers. Do the math. 25 million jobs times $40,000 per year. We must ban all factory and part imports where the workers make less than $5 an hour. We must have a 25% tax on all factory and part imports where workers make less than $10 an hour. And we need to require that at least half of the factory products sold in America be made by American workers in America. We could also create millions of construction and green energy jobs by taxing billionaires to finance at least $100 billion a year be spent on construction and green energy jobs. These are promises Donald Trump made, but the Trump Republican budget has no provision for import taxes to take back our factory jobs, no provision for $100 billion per year spent on construction and green energy jobs, and no provision for raising taxes on billionaires to both balance the budget and pay for job-creating construction spending. Without those good-paying jobs and the ability to afford health care, many who voted for Donald Trump and Republicans will die. Many who voted for Donald Trump did so only because he promised to give Americans millions of factory jobs and construction jobs. But the Trump Republican budget stabs those Trump voters in the back. That makes Donald Trump and the Republican Party the deadly enemies of Trump voters. If you voted for Donald Trump because he promised you factory and construction jobs, realize that Donald Trump lied to you, played you for a fool, stabbed you in the back, and is your deadly enemy. Similarly, every Republican in Congress who voted for the Trump Republican budget is also your deadly enemy. But also realize that the Trump Republican budget may kill you or people you love in many ways. The Trump Republican budget will also kill seniors, the needies, and babies. Realize that the Trump budget is anti-Jesus. Jesus taught that billionaires should pay taxes and most of the wealth of the very rich should be used to help the needy. Matthew 22:21 and Luke 18:22. Thus Jesus Christ advocated the socialist values of taxing the very rich to provide for the needs of society and the needs of the needy. A rejection of socialism is a rejection of the teachings of Jesus Christ. By giving billions of dollars in tax cuts to the radical billionaire economic dictators of America, the resulting budget deficit will trigger cuts to Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid. With loss of medical coverage and income, many senior citizens will die. Some of the senior citizens who will die will be Trump voters or parents of Trump voters. I guess you did not know that voting for Donald Trump and Republicans was voting to kill you or kill your parents. The Trump budget also means Other cuts, such as Medicaid, food stamps, and other programs that provide health care, food, and help to the needy, mothers and children. By cutting those programs, many needy people will die, including mothers and children. This means killing the needy. Without prenatal medical treatment, medical care for newborn babies, and food for mothers and babies, many babies will die. Donald Trump and the Republican Party will be killing the needy and killing babies. Do not raise tax By not raising taxes on billionaires to balance the budget, pay for job-creating spending on construction, and pay for programs to help seniors, the needy, and babies, the Trump Republican budget may be killing your parents, you, and members of your family. What can you do to help save the lives of the American people, including seniors, workers, and babies? You can fight back against your deadly enemies, namely Trump and every Republican in Congress that voted for the budget. To fight back, and save American lives, do the following. Call your representatives in the House and Senate to defeat the Trump Republican budget. If the budget passes, then organize with others to have a national revolution of the American people to demand a new budget be passed that serves the will of the American people rather than the will of the radical billionaire economic dictators of America. The new budget must raise taxes on billionaires to balance the budget, finance $100 billion a year for construction and green energy jobs, and protect the lives of seniors, workers, and babies. Join an organization like Our Revolution or Just Democrats to work with others to make sure that every member of Congress is a progressive who will work for the will of the American people rather than the economic dictators. Work to kick out of office every Republican who voted for the Kill Americans budget. Also work to elect progressives to Congress who will raise taxes on billionaires to pay for millions of more jobs and saving American lives. America is an economic dictatorship ruled by radical billionaires. Congress does what radical billionaires order them to do rather than doing what the American people want them to do. That is because the Republican Party and part of the Democratic Party is ruled by radical billionaires. We must raise taxes on billionaires to balance the budget, pay for creating millions of jobs, and save American lives. The tax rate on billionaires should be 50% on earned income, 25% on capital gains, and 75% on inheritance. Any candidate for Congress who does not pledge to raise taxes on billionaires to that level should not be elected to Congress. It would be better for all of us to vote for the Green Party candidate than a Democrat or Republican who will not tax billionaires to balance the budget, create millions of jobs, and save American lives. Your very life may depend upon you joining the revolution to overthrow the economic dictatorship in America and replace it with the rule of we the people. To protect your life and the lives of those that you love, join an organization like Our Revolution or Justice Democrats. Join or form a local chapter. Our goals include the following. Stop the Trump Republican budget. If it passes, demand and get a replacement budget that raises taxes on billionaires to balance the budget and pays to create millions of jobs and save American lives. Kick out of office all Republicans who voted for the American killing budget that serves the economic dictators with tax cuts. Elect progressives who promise to greatly raise taxes on billionaires to balance the budget, create jobs, and save lives. Ban, limit, and highly tax low-wage factory and part imports to get our factory jobs back and give American workers $1 trillion per year in income. Meet with others locally and talk to others nationally to come up with an action plan to achieve our goals. Then work hard to make our goals a reality. If we educate and recruit others to join the revolution, then we can overthrow the economic dictatorship in America and replace it with the rule of we the people. Advice to Our Revolution, Justice Democrat, and other progressive organizations. By educating and recruiting tens of millions of Trump voters to join the revolution, we will have the votes we need to kick out of Congress the servants of the economic dictators. And in order to recruit tens of millions of Trump voters to join the revolution, endorse the goals of those voters, namely getting our factory jobs back and creating millions of construction jobs. Allow local chapters focus primarily on creating millions of good-paying jobs. Advice to voters for jobs who voted for Donald Trump. Kick out of office every Republican who voted for the Trump Republican budget. Demand a budget that taxes imports, taxes billionaires, spends to create millions of construction jobs, and save the lives of seniors, workers, and the needy. Join our Revolution Justice Democrats or some other organization that allows donating money and time to candidates who promise to raise taxes on imports and billionaires to balance the budget, create millions of jobs, and save American lives. Form a local group that focuses primarily on raising taxes on imports and billionaires to create millions of jobs. That group need not be associated with a national organization and may just be locally independent group of voters for jobs. Educate and recruit people to join your local group. Pressure our Revolution Justice Democrat and other organizations to allow donating money and time to candidates who will pass a budget that will tax imports and billionaires to balance the budget, create millions of jobs, and save American lives. When Republicans in Congress vote the way they are ordered to by the radical billionaires of America, rather than the way the American people want them to do, then America is no longer a democracy of we the people, but it has become an economic dictatorship of radical billionaires. When Republicans in Congress vote for a budget, give billions to the economic dictators rather than give millions of jobs to the American people and saves the lives of American people, then Republicans in Congress have become the deadly enemy of the American people. Kick those Republicans out of Congress. Kicking those Republicans out of Congress may be the only way you can save American lives and get good-paying American jobs. Join whatever. I'll skip over this. Sorry. By educating and recruiting the vast majority of Trump voters for factory and construction jobs, we will have the votes we need to kick out of office all Republicans who voted for the Trump Republican budget. We will elect a progressive Congress, then we will create a new budget that taxes imports and billionaires, balances the budget, creates millions of factory and construction jobs, and saves the lives of Americans with Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and other social programs. This includes adding $1 trillion per year to the income of American workers. Your very life may depend upon you joining the revolution to overthrow the economic dictatorship in America and replace it with the rule of we the people. Join the revolution today. Contact our Revolution or Justice Democrat and see how you can help to kick out of Congress every Republican who voted for the budget and elect progressives to Congress. Join the revolution today. Thank you.